Film Nerds Podcast. I'm one half of this train wreck, Davis Miller.
Hi, I'm Suhei. I'm the other half of this train wreck. I'm just gonna call it train wreck now.
Oh, wait, I think we've used that joke before. Okay, I think I've called it the train wreck every episode. We gotta come up with new verbiage.
Yeah.
But
we can only keep that motif for like a little bit.
Yeah, but so our topics today are gonna be Logan, Get Out, and some news, and then we'll talk about if we're ever gonna see the movie Ikiru, which we drew for like the movie pick of the week. And you know what? I doubt anyone else watched it, so I think we're good.
Yeah.
We just make up crap.
Yeah.
Let's just
Logan.
Yeah, let's just get to Logan.
Yeah.
So I think it's been
seven. Oh, okay. Yeah,
no, it's been like a week since it came out, right?
Oh, it came out March 3rd.
So. So it's been over a week.
Yeah, it's been like.
Yeah, because we recorded before, because we did the last one like a couple days before Logan came out. That's right. And I guess detriment to doing like a 2-week system. We might miss out on stuff.
Yeah.
But Logan. Let's
get into this. Yeah.
So Logan, I think it's a flawed movie, but I think it was a good flawed movie.
Yeah.
Like a flaw, or just, I guess other way around. I guess a good movie that's like flawed. I think
it's flaws that I'm glad it has. Not like glad that it has. Like I'm glad it's not as good as I wanted or whatever. Which it is as good as I wanted.
Or the flaws are
the flaws in okay. I love the Marvel movies, but I guess the flaws in those movies are things that I'm like, okay, come on, guys. Like this one, it's like, okay, you know what, you guys.
You got the core. You got the core stuff that you absolutely needed, right?
Exactly. And
it's like you could have done it this other stuff better, but at least you got your core stuff right.
Yeah. And overall, it's just what it does for the genre and the character especially is just.
I mean, we usually introduce other movies. I don't think we need to introduce this one.
Yeah.
Just besides the fact, X-Men movies, Wolverine.
Yeah.
He's old.
Apparently his last outing. But I mean, we'll see about that. I mean, I don't know. I really hope it is.
Mark Hamill, who plays Luke Skywalker, he voices the Joker in Batman stuff.
Yeah.
And then, he said back in 2011 when he did the game Batman Arkham Asylum, when he did the voice acting for that, he said it was the last time he was going to do the Joker. And then...
Oh, that is true.
And then, 2015, I think, rolls around... Or 2015 rolls around, he does it again for the Arkham Knight video game, and then 2016 rolls around and he does it for The Killing Joke, which we don't talk about because that was a train wreck.
I mean,
more of a train wreck than the show.
I really liked, more than a train wreck than the show. I really liked the second half of it, but
even then it just felt like.
But I felt like the first half kind of.
I've always felt weird about those DC animated movies because I think sometimes it's like they so basically. Tangent. We can go on a tangent. It's fine.
Yeah.
But
we just gotta stay on course. That's all.
Yeah, but it's like DC does these direct-to-video animated movies, and for a while they were doing pretty well. Now not so much. Mm-hmm. But it's like they just kind of adapt storylines.
Yeah.
In some cases, I think it's good because it's it's more just it's cool to see it progress in us with a sort of better structure, get a better sense of time.
Yeah.
Than just reading comic book, and it's there's a certain I guess interpretation to the the flow of action and the flow of movements that's you can't really communicate through the comic book medium. So it's that kind of stuff's interesting, but it's I felt like they didn't really get the animation for The Killing Joke. I think looked cheap, and that was my big issue with it. Is that the artwork in the comic book I think is a lot better. What it's I think that's the issue. They just look really. I think their animation budget's gone down.
They purposely used I forgot the terms, but I read into it when I was sort of when I was watching the movie, or not but before I watched the movie and stuff. But there's an old style of motion, cartoon motion that they used. It's how I think I know what you're talking about. When you I think so, right? When they're walking, it kind of looks like it skips frames almost.
Yeah.
When they're walking, it's kind of lanky or whatever. And I guess they, and it's not that smooth. And I guess they did that on purpose for some reason.
It just looks cheap.
It just, and it does. And there are other films I'm actually a big fan of the DC animated. I've seen Batman, The Dark Knight Returns.
That's the best one.
Which is so good, and it's very smooth, and it looks almost 3D in a way, kind of. And even All-Star Superman and Justice League Doom and Under the Red Hood as well. Those are good, and those are really, those do something that seems to be a lot different than what they did with Killing Joke. Which is in a good way for.
And Killing Joke
those.
is an R-rated superhero movie, much like Logan.
Yes, but one of them actually is R.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
So Logan.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of the biggest draws of the movie. R rating. I think it's appropriate for a guy who's got like knives on his hands.
Yeah.
And like that's always as like a big comic book X-Men fan. It's like that's always something that's like weird for writers because it's like. Because sometimes they have to they show him stabbing someone. It's like they can't really do that much blood.
Yeah.
So they put the guy that he's stabbing in armor or something. So it's like he just stabs through. It's like, oh, I guess the blood's all under the armor.
Yeah, it's under the armor.
Or they'll just have a shot of his claws coming out and then like a guy lying on the ground.
Yeah.
Or like not a shot, but like a panel.
Yeah, like
but
and
it's always awkward. It's like it's a weird character to be on a team of heroes, I guess, where he's got such a
deadly,
horrible, like brutal, and this is a real brutal movie.
Yeah, while I was watching it, I was wondering like how did they manage to do so many X-Men movies with him in it, like PG-13.
There's
and it's just like wow, okay.
No, because in X-Men 2, there's a scene where a bunch of soldiers in the house. They do it where it's like they're kind of wearing like sort of like armored stuff, so it's like you can imply that it's like all right, his claws are going through him, but it's like maybe their their underclothing is just soaking up all the blood or whatever.
Yeah.
But this movie, it's like not overly gory. Like there's shaky cam in this movie. It's got that,
but it's like more like handheld.
I was gonna say they're like
more,
because I guess like the shaky cam kind of derogatory term. I feel like refers more to like handheld and then quick edits to try to just hide stuff. But I think the shaky cam or like the handheld or whatever you want to call it was used well in this movie.
Yeah.
Because I think it's like, again, it's a character where he's like horrible. It's like, there's a lot of confusion in the fightings in like the action scenes where just this like him and I guess spoiler if you haven't seen the trailer. He's has to protect this young girl, Laura, and she's also got Wolverine claws. She's got 2 in her hands, and then she's got 1 in her each of her feet.
Which I didn't know, by the way, that she had Wolverine powers. Like I knew that she was in the movie, obviously.
Oh, you didn't know that it was X-23?
I didn't know that it was like. I mean, I heard the rumors, but I was like, whatever. Yeah.
Okay.
Which was
because when she was in the trailers, I guess it's. Well, I guess like detriment to knowing all that stuff. It's like she looks the way that X-23 is typically like written older, like 17, but I'm like okay, it looks like that.
Yeah, and she was a capable actress.
Yeah,
so
it's
really impressive that she's
been
only
a good. 2016, 2017 have been good years for kid actors.
Yeah,
like Moonlight. Kid in Moonlight was great.
Alex
Kid in Lion was. We talked about this last time. Kid in Moonlight and Lion are both great.
Lion.
Continuing
the trend. There we go. I was trying to remember.
Yeah, he's getting that in every episode now.
Yeah, gotta get in that character.
Anyways, action scene stuff. It's all it's very confusing, and it's like
kind of like how as he's getting older, it's almost like everything's getting so fast.
And plus, if you were one of those guys who's got a gun to fend off someone with a healing factor and knives for hands, you'd be pretty freaked out too.
Yeah, exactly.
And I guess I guess one of the maybe this is budget constrained, but I wish there would have been at least one scene of the Laura kid recovering from a horrific injury. Okay. I don't know why. Yeah. I think that just would have been a cool scene to just build up that there's the part where she rolls the head at them. I think it would have been cool to see a scene where she just gets shot in the face or something, and then she just regenerates half. Yeah. No, would have been gratuitous, but it would have been a cool way to show that she's kind of badass and kind of just be we went we went that they went there. I guess.
They went there. Yeah. But overall, speaking of going places, it's it really does do something. It made me feel a way that a superhero movie has not made me feel in a while. I legitimately best scenes are the ones where they're just sitting and just talking.
Yeah, and plot wise, it's I legitimately didn't know what where the stuff was. I think that happens with Marvel movies too. They don't really adhere to the comic books. They take ideas more than they take literal stuff. But this movie had no grounding in comic book stuff, which I thought was it's just takes the characters and is all right, let's just write a brand new story based off of this, and just we're not gonna care about continuity garbage or and or even just like fan expectations, I guess. Which I think is a good mentality, I think, to take with superhero movies.
Yeah. And I loved. Well, if we're gonna talk about characters, we'll also talk about the actors. Well, Hugh Jackman, obviously, he's such a badass. Like, he's so good on screen.
I thought you were gonna say he's such a bad actor.
No, okay, no way. Yeah, he's just so awesome. Like, he can totally carry his own movie on his shoulders. Like, like any day of the week. He's so good. But
he plays grumpy people real well.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. And he's like British, and it's just weird that, he's Australian.
Yeah,
he's Australian, and it's just weird like seeing him play this like old American, just kind of to the core. I feel like kind of really, character. Really cool.
Really like sort of like lone gunslinger like Western.
Yeah,
Western movie takes a lot of
protagonists. Yeah,
it takes a lot of movie plays a lot like a Western.
Yeah, and
like
which is good because the director. James Mangold, he did the 3:10 to Yuma remake also. Yeah. So he's really into
Western. There's a specific scene where they watch Shane.
Yeah, Shane.
The old Western Shane in the movie. And so.
Yeah, and there was like someone tweeted at him like what his inspirations were, and he listed a bunch of them.
That's great.
Like Man Who Shot Liberty Valance and all those like and Searchers and stuff. It's so great. But I was gonna say with the Hugh Jackman thing, the other actor that I think that to me I did not think I was gonna. I mean, he's like one of my favorite actors probably, but I just didn't know how much I was going to think of him afterwards. But Sir Patrick Stewart as Professor X, like he's so funny in this. Like he brings like the right amount of levity to the film. Like, because there's a scene, like I'm not going to spoil anything obviously, but like there's like a scene where like these regular people ask him and Wolverine, like, do you guys need a place to stay? And he's like, and Wolverine's like, he's all grumpy. He's like, no, we're fine. He's like, and then like Professor X's like, that would be lovely. Like in the back, he's just so funny, and he's just like, he's always there to just be like, and he's like, I have to pee. Like he just has really funny.
Yeah, like, they wrote in good stuff.
Yeah, and it like fits as kind of like super old because he is really old in this.
Like, they age makeup him.
Yeah,
they put age makeup on an old man.
Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of stuff with this character that is like that was like wow. It's a lot of mystery surrounding the whole lore really of this film.
Yeah, because it's I was originally thrown off by the fact that the character's always portrayed as wise and composed, calls Logan like a motherfucker, like gives him like some like he says like he swears at him a lot.
Yeah.
And it's like at a certain point it's like a kind of common theme of the movie is that he's disappointed in Wolverine. So I'm like, I mean that's based on the way that his life's going,
Yeah, exactly.
Bend and all composure.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean that's really. I mean those are the things that I just wanted to say because those two are really the actors of the movie. I mean the girl who plays Laura, she's good in it, but it's like she's really good in it, but it's not like she has like these
it's
like really huge things to do.
Yeah, it's a non-vocal performance.
It is definitely
for most of the movie, and it's
for like 80%.
She pulls it off real well without just being like a caricature, like little Jake Lloyd in episode 1 talking to Qui-Gon Jinn, going, "I've been wondering what are midichlorians." It's a good performance.
Yeah, it's a good performance. I mean, a lot of people are talking about like spin-offs and stuff. Like I know, like I don't know. That's my opinion. I just don't think it's there. Maybe in like a decade or something when she's like, But then again, I don't want like a high school like X-23 movie. I don't know, but just not now. I don't know. It's soon, and I don't really bother with the whole future of this universe. I just want to see good movies.
I think I'd be fine. Because I think if they just abandon continuity and just go with just throw her in a movie and just be like, whatever, we don't care. We don't care.
That's what I thought the X-Men universe was doing, period. Like, that's what I thought. That's what I kind of appreciated, was that it was almost like the Marvel universe was like, they definitely have a continuity. And
not to say that's a bad thing. It's advantageous for some stuff like Civil War, where it's like, okay, you can care about the characters and why they're fighting.
And I like that X-Men was almost like, just like, what, screw it. Like, we're just going to just try to do good movies because we don't know really when Deadpool is.
And then they did real well with Days of Future Past, and then they made Apocalypse.
And then Apocalypse, and yeah. Have you seen Apocalypse yet?
Yeah. Okay. I saw it on like HBO.
Okay.
It's
like if that was the I feel like we shouldn't get into like a
I will say that Quicksilver scene is so, even for that character, is such unbelievable, ridiculous bullshit that I was so done. Like when he throws the guy out the window and throws the mattress at the tree, and he knows that the trajectory of the guy will perfectly hit the mattress.
I mean, how fat? Like how that's I liked it in Future Past. I think because it was kind of a cool like surprise, of a scene.
It wasn't overdone. It was just like,
yeah.
Oh, here's this guy with super speed powers doing this really like this fun gag.
The one in Apocalypse was clearly because it's just the response to the
Apocalypse
first one.
Feels like, oh, people liked this.
Yeah, exactly.
The movie.
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
just like and then just turn it up to 11.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was really long. Yeah,
there's some Days of Future Passes.
Man, that's honestly one of my favorite comic book movies. I think
the whole I remember our friend Jay, who probably a lot of people listening to this might not know. It's like because we were in the theater with him, and then when they talk about how he's in the Pentagon and he assassinated JFK, and then Jay, I looked over at Jay and he's like, that's why the bullet curve, like that's kind of like that was something like that's such like a cool idea. It's like that's something where it's like the conspiracy behind the Kennedy bullet curve is rooted in like pop and sort of like conspiracy culture, like, and it's also it like works for the universe.
Yes, it is such a cool thing they did. Yeah,
it's pretty cool
because that movie really did seem like it was like, okay, what, we need to like revive this. We need to like get all these things together, kind of. And Apocalypse was kind of I don't know. It seemed kind of like an afterthought, to be honest. It just
what's the thing about X-Men movies? Yeah. They've never made a good X-Men movie.
Really?
They've only made good Wolverine movies.
Days of Future Past, though. Like, I would say that I would call that more, I think, than a Wolverine.
They've only made good Wolverine movies or movies that are about Professor X and Magneto. There's never been a good it's
like a good ensemble X-Men movie.
Because I think Wolverine seems like a good entry point character. Yeah, where he's a guy who just has like an I don't care about ideology. He's like the X-Men are all about this about like ideologies and crap. He's like, I don't care. I'm just I'm just out of control, and you guys seem like you'll help me keep me in control. So whatever. Yeah. And it's like Cyclops is like Cyclops or like characters like Cyclops or Jean Grey. It's like it's always kind of pushed aside just because everyone likes Wolverine because he's a cool guy, and it's like they never really moved past that. I guess because it's like. I mean, it's like Cyclops is a great character. Yeah. Like, because I think I'd go on a diatribe for hours, but it's just like the whole concept of someone where he has a completely uncontrollable power but he's constantly like trying to stay in control of this team, and it's like he's someone who people look up to as a leader, but he's constantly like self-doubting himself and like all this stuff, and it's like he's just written off as an asshole in those movies, and I don't know. They just never. I mean, and I think. And besides just like working with this movie, just serving as a really good last Wolverine movie. Yeah, I think Hugh Jackman not coming back. Yeah, I think that'll like be beneficial really to like the franchise as a whole, because I think like finally they'll have to move past doing the same stuff.
I will say though that aren't they? I heard that they're like just. I mean, I know they're all rumors or whatever, so we don't know anything, but. Because they're doing that new X-Men like TV series, I guess, and Bryan Singer is actually like directing, I guess, the pilot, and he's gonna be involved in that. They canceled that. Did they actually? Because like my thing is like they don't have
because I thought you were talking about Legion at first, but you're talking. I remember
because there was an actual like X-Men, like Simon Kinberg is involved.
It was like supposed to be on like ABC or something.
Yeah, and I don't think they have, because I remember Days of Future Past when that came out, they announced Apocalypse at least a year after. But this movie, like they're really, I mean, I guess after Apocalypse, there hasn't really been any plans for another X-Men movie in the future, and they already established the like young X-Men, and there are the New Mutants in Logan. So I guess
I don't want to spin off of that though.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever. But I mean, the fact that that's there.
It's just, spoilers, I guess, for Logan.
Yeah, I guess spoilers for Logan.
But I mean, like, what was it? Like, what was I gonna say? Issue with even those like new X-Men movies that don't really have Wolverine. Yeah, they have this. You see, they've got the same problem with Jennifer Lawrence because they cast Jennifer Lawrence as Mystique, and it worked in Days of Future Past, and not in First Class.
In First Class. That was like before she was like the like Jennifer Lawrence. I feel like it was like right there.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, it was right on the cusp of that.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Right after like maybe one or two Hunger Games.
Yeah, it was like the first Hunger Games. Yeah, it was like.
But it was like it works in that movie because as a sort of like emotional, like a sort of like the way like a sort of her being kind of in the middle of this conflict between Charles Xavier and Magneto. Yeah. and it's like
I thought it worked in Days of Future Past really well too.
Well, here's my issue though.
Yeah.
She's constant, but I feel like she's constantly at the center of those movies.
Yeah.
And she's always being brought back to side of the X-Men, and it's like, I think it's like, I just feel like, I don't know, it doesn't work for her character. Like I guess like the comic book version of that character, it's someone where it's like, she's someone who's like, is like a violently proud to be a mutant essentially, which is so it's like, you know, totally against like the X-Men idea of like peaceful, or trying to prove to people that mutants should be accepted because just through acts of heroism. She's like, you know, and her whole point of her character is that like, even though she's a shapeshifter, she like prefers to be in her blue like form because she feels like that's like herself, right?
Yeah,
and it's like, and I guess part of it is just Jennifer Lawrence doesn't want to wear like the body.
Yeah, and in Apocalypse, she's Jennifer Lawrence in a lot of. It's just like
that's kind of crap, because it's like it's against the character, and it's also just like laziness on the part of the actor. It's like he can't bother to, and it's like you know, you can have Mystique as a recurrent villain if you want. Just put someone else in the head of the X-Men. Yeah, and it's like you never really get attached to anyone in those X-Men movies because they keep rotating out the cast. Like there's no. It's just.
But I feel like a lot of it is probably that's true. But I feel like it's like weird because I feel like the blame should be distributed because like it is because you could say that with Hugh Jackman too. But when I see Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, like I don't see the guy from like Les Mis and like all those other movies like all the movies he's been in. Like I see Wolverine, like for sure. But the thing is like when I see Jennifer Lawrence, it's like I can't escape that persona that I see.
And it's like not even her specifically, it's just the fact that it's like just choose a different character. Because it's just like do like Storm or something. Just I don't know, it's just like this or just give the honestly you might just want to give the rights to Marvel Studios.
No, I don't know. Fantastic Four maybe, but just I don't know. X-Men I feel like is just they've got like one more movie to pull it on track for me, like in terms of my still like being interested in these movies, I guess, because it's like I feel like I don't know though, because it feels like every time they take a misstep, they make one that's really good, and then they make like one that's bad, and it makes counterbalance it. It's like it's weird. I mean, because Logan seems like it was made by a completely different team than and I think if they can do things like that, like if Deadpool 2, because Deadpool 1, maybe it's just I've never been a huge fan of the character, but
I understand why people like Deadpool. I understand why people like that movie. I thought the movie was like, it was.
I don't know.
It was good. And it's just like, again, I have the same. But I think we got there's two people in this room who don't like Deadpool. So
it's just that there's.
Should we call Michael Easley? Should we? Oh no,
just have him on the phone.
He changed his opinion. He doesn't like it anymore. I think
he doesn't like her. Or he does.
Let me text
because he didn't before.
Well, let's text someone who likes Deadpool. We'll get him on speakerphone. We'll get on our podcast.
No, I think he said he didn't like it.
Never mind.
At first.
Yeah, that's too much work.
Yeah.
But but
I just thought it was like really, I don't know, like the plot and stuff. I was like, I just didn't understand the.
Yeah. Anyways.
But
back to Logan. Like Logan was just like, it's just real simple and just got the characters and it just, the action sequences weren't overblown. It was just like, it's a fight in the middle of like North Dakota forest.
It was a very much an action movie, like more than I thought, I guess, and more than I guess it kind of seemed. But there were like, don't get me wrong, there are a lot of scenes of quietude and stuff like that, throughout, which is good. But I will say like one problem, there is a thing that we already kind of spoiled one aspect of it.
We'll go into full, like that was kind of like minor spoilers, like you figured there's going to be on other mutants in that movie, but we'll go into like full spoilers.
Yeah, here. So overall, if you want to just, we really like the movie.
No, not full spoilers, sorry. Actually, what we're going to do is we're going to, I guess we should talk about things we didn't like. I thought that the villains of the story were serviceable, but like they weren't, it just was like dumb.
I don't know. Yeah, exactly. I feel like, I will say that too, but I feel like maybe just to sort of play devil's advocate of sorts, maybe they were just trying to focus on Logan and the relationship within the protagonist, and the antagonist was just kind of a way to introduce like X-23.
Because I feel like they have like the private soldiers who are working for the company, the genetics research company, which you've seen in the trailer stuff, and then we'll talk about the other like kind of other villains.
Yeah, and the spoiler stuff.
Yeah, like and it was, and also I felt like there were parts where I didn't feel any tension because it felt like they couldn't. It felt like it felt like they had no way to deal with Wolverine. Like, it just felt like there were times where I'm just like, I took a step back while I was watching it. I'm like, they don't really have a way to deal with this guy. Like, this doesn't really feel like, I'm not feeling like, I don't know why I should care about this.
Yeah, like no connections kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you could say that about any action movie, right? Like, why do you care if the main character is going to survive? But at least in something like John Wick, like, right? It's like, he's a guy who's just really good at guns. If he slips up, if he slips up, he might get shot in the face.
Yeah.
You don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's go to full spoilers. I thought that the sort of professor guy they introduce was really it just felt really weird and rushed, where it's like last part of the movie is like, oh, by the way, here's this doctor and he killed all of the mutants and he really wants to better people. Like, and I think it could have been cool if they went subversive and the guy is just straight up like, yeah, I hate mutants. Like, I'm not even going to try to justify, like, because it's like, that's the justification for every villain is like, well, if you look at it through this lens that absolutely no one would look through this. I'm really in the right here. It's like, I think it would have been cool if they just like, they almost sort of like, again, like almost like political commentary. It's like, I just hate these people because I like rousing fear because that gives me like support or whatever. And like, and then going on to the other villain, the clone Wolverine. I wish Wolverine would have killed him in the house. I guess, yeah. I wish they would have just killed him in the house. Yeah. I think the one thing that is good for is for the like the scene of him abruptly. Well, first of all, Charles Xavier getting killed halfway through the movie. I didn't see that coming.
Oh yeah, no, and I almost like look. I mean, like, I thought it was a kind of a cool surprise, but I just didn't think it was. Not because I didn't want him, we're in spoilers now, so we can say this, but not because I didn't want him to die, but because it just seemed so like it just seemed like right before that he was saying it was one of the most beautiful moments like in that movie, and he was like this whole speech about because he was like in the bed and he was talking or he thought he was talking to Wolverine and he was saying like this is the best night of my this has been the best night of my life.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my god, and then just and it's just like, but okay,
here's what I'll argue for that.
Yeah.
It's like, I feel like there's a lot of ways that as much as that, like, I can see that. It's like, what I thought it was just the sense of like, it's never said, but you get the sense that from both Charles Xavier and Wolverine, Charles Xavier never finds out that was a clone Wolverine that kills him.
And when I was thinking about that broke my heart.
And it's just the guilt that Wolverine has to live with. That he killed that, like, this guy thinks that he killed him. And to Charles Xavier, it's like you're saying, this speech is like after he finally opens up to this guy about like his life and like why he feels so much like disappointment in him and all this stuff. And it's just like,
Jesus, and also, man, that's fucking depressing. Bro.
And it's like also I think the fact that it's like then it just leaves like he sort of works as a bridge between Laura and Wolverine. Where it's like, it's like he's able to like actually communicate with her and then communicate that to Wolverine. But it's like now Wolverine's kind of just like stuck with this girl who he feels sympathy for through Professor X, but now he actually has to deal with it.
Exactly. Yeah.
And like and also going back to the villains real quick. So like I felt like the clone Wolverine. I feel like he could have just killed him in the house scene. It would have been fine. Actually, everyone in that house gets killed, and they think that it was him. Yeah, and it's just like.
I just wish that because I knew something. We all knew something was up because the way that they shot that scene when he's in the bed and Professor X, they never show. They just show a shadow, but they never show his face.
I thought it was going to be a dream sequence. Me
too. I thought it was a dream sequence, and then you see him outside, and I'm like, oh no! I'm like, wait a minute, what the hell is going on? That was so confusing. But at first, but then I was like, okay, It was like really ballsy, but it just.
And you know what? I feel like a conventional comic book movie would have totally ruined that in the trailer. Mm-hmm. Because they would have had a scene in the trailer. That trailer ends with Wolverine walking up a hallway with some dead bodies, and then it's like, you see young Wolverine, and then it's like Logan.
Yeah, Logan. Yeah, in theaters,
March 3rd.
Oh my god, he's evil now. Like Transformers 5.
or something like. But it's like the fact that they didn't blow a major spoiler is. I think that's great.
Yeah, that's great. But I was gonna say also with the villain, the thing about about the Wolverine, the X-24 or whatever we're gonna call it.
Yeah.
I guess this my big problem was, I mean, I did feel connected at the end when he does eventually kill our Wolverine.
Yeah.
But I just felt like maybe it wasn't as much as I thought. Maybe I would have rather had him like die from maybe after so many years of like knowing Hugh Jackman as this character. Maybe like, I don't know, like a sacrifice or something, something like that. Like instead of just being stabbed, like being thrown on a log or something. And I just,
I would have. I think you go for I think it would have been fine. I would have been more fine if it's like if he's trying to protect Laura and then and then it's just like you just see a bunch of just gunshots in his back and it's like he's going through so many years of abuse it's just not going to heal anymore and then he just exactly. And also going back to that last scene, the guy with the robot arm, I felt like his death was like horrible, like it was horribly brutal, but it was just I felt like it was disproportionate to
like his actions.
I don't know. Yeah. Like he just seemed like a somewhat morally dubious guy who was just going along with this.
Yeah.
And sure he's got bad, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like I don't think the guy deserved to get like tortured.
But I feel like that's like everyone that Wolverine deals with. They probably don't deserve like what he gives.
At least he stabs a lot of people in the heart and the head. Like that's probably real quick. Mm-hmm. Instead of getting like horribly assaulted by children with all these horrible powers.
With terrible oh my god, yeah. Yeah, that's true. I mean,
I don't know.
But it is a cool thing with like at the very end when she puts the kind of X thing. So
that
resembles like the legacy, like kind of like the
because ultimately
rebirth,
this movie was Logan scared of hurting people he gets close to and not wanting to like and just trying to push back the fact that he always is that he has this desire to help people and then in the end him accepting that and coming back into who he really is.
Yeah, we got more development from Logan in this movie than I think in like all all the films before this.
There's like no wisecracking. I mean there is, but it's always at appropriate times and it's usually done as just like a fuck you to someone.
Exactly, yeah.
Also there's one really good I was thinking about this. There's a really good in-joke in this movie.
Okay.
And I don't know if people caught it unless they read comics, which is they go into the gas station, right? There's that whole scene. He takes 2 cigars and then you never see him smoke them. Mm-hmm. That's because Marvel there's currently a like contract at Marvel or it's like demanded by Marvel that you cannot show
smoking, right?
Yeah, you cannot show Wolverine smoking.
Yeah.
Because a bunch of parents got mad when he was smoking cigars and they said that Marvel was trying to get their kids to smoke cigars.
Oh. That's like that's actually really funny that they did.
I think it's hilarious when like modern. I remember it was like I read about this after the fact, but back in 2011 they had like Marvel like a gay marriage between 2 members of the X-Men.
Yeah.
And I remember a bunch of parents got angry that they're trying to turn their kids gay, and it was just like funny to me because it's like the comic book audience isn't children anymore.
Yeah. It
like really I'm honestly probably in the lowest age demographic that they try to like bat for.
It's really true.
No, it was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't know, Logan was.
Yeah, it was a really.
I think we've said a lot, pretty much everything we have. So
yeah. I mean, overall, it's just it's a really good movie, and it's a movie that I would be okay, with my parents seeing it. Like a lot of superhero movies that come out nowadays, it's kind of like you kind of know what you're getting into somewhat, just kind of with replacing the superhero, replacing the main characters or whatever. This one's a very different movie, like structurally, and the characters and just the way that it's kind of laid out. It's like it's really interesting. It's really different, but then that's kind of contrasted with some of the things that I felt were a little too sort of comic booky, like the Wolverine 2.0 and stuff like that. Yeah, that I wish maybe. But then again, it's like I'm only saying those things because it's it's such a cool thing that they did with
those and as much as it didn't come into play like at all.
Yeah.
Like the robot arm looked pretty dang convincing. Like I believe that was a 2020 something robot arm. Mm-hmm. Even though he's like, oh look at me, I'm enhanced with my robot arm. It just gets like cut off.
Yeah.
I wish it would. It's like dumb as it is. I wouldn't have hated if his hand was just made out of like adamantium. And and he just punches the crap out of Wolverine and bends his skull and bashes his skull. Like,
like completely breaks him. Yeah.
I don't know.
I was gonna say also about the R rating. Like sometimes like maybe it's just because I'm not used to like hearing Wolverine swear in the movies, but it just seemed like it was so like the swearing. Yeah, like in the very beginning, because it was like, we're R now, and so he was like every other word. It was like, oh fucking shit, just shit the fuck, and I'm like, what? Okay, I guess.
Yeah, it's just like it felt like that's like it felt like when you're like a 12-year-old kid,
and you just learn,
and you learn your swear words, and then you're saying around,
and you're just like going around saying,
and
like SpongeBob and Patrick when they like say it in the Krusty Krab, like Mike, whatever. But yeah, exactly.
It's like oh, we can say this now.
Like we can say this now.
It's like we're gonna revel in saying it.
Yeah, we're gonna be, exactly. Like,
so I think we'd recommend Logan. It's like it's a good movie, but there's definitely flaws in it, but I think it's a movie that'll be remembered after the superhero craze. Like people will look back on this
they
movie.
will cite it as, I think, one of the standouts.
Because I think in 20 years it's like a lot of those Marvel movies are just gonna get blended together.
Yeah, I really do. Yeah,
and it's like
and they're good and I like them. But
no one's gonna remember Thor 2: The Dark World.
Yeah, I don't think so. I really don't think so. But I would say like this and Days of Future Past, I think are among my favorite, X-Men. Yeah. My favorite, I think, just period.
And I still can't get past the fact that Days of Future Past is just totally centered around Wolverine when it should have been Ellen Page. Because that's always the comic book. It should have. But it's just it's always got to be Wolverine.
Yeah.
Just because.
Yeah.
And so let's talk about now. Let's go into our second movie, which I liked more than Wolverine, or more than Logan, I think, which was Get Out.
Okay.
Which I'm not a fan of horror movies, but I definitely wanted to see.
Oh, you're not? Like just like normally?
Yeah, I'm like really jumpy, and that frustrates me when I know I'm watching a bad horror movie. Yeah. Like when I'm over at someone's, I know this is like a poorly made movie.
Yeah.
And it's like, and it's just still scaring me just because I'm just too jumpy. Like, that makes me resent it more. It's just the fact that it's actually working on me. But, because I want to see Get Out because, like horror movies, they generally don't get, because Rotten Tomatoes had it on like as 98%, which doesn't mean that people thought it was
99. Well, it was 100.
Yeah, it was 100, and then it went to
99.
Yeah. But it's like some people don't know how Rotten Tomatoes work, and it's like it doesn't mean that people gave it like a 99 out of 100. It just means like
a 10 out of 10.
It just means like 99% of people gave it like a score that's at least like
a 3 out of 5 or above.
Yeah, like so like a 60% or above.
So like saying it's average or above. Then,
so it's like so I'm like, okay,
that makes sense.
Because I think horror movies, I think some people on major publications have to review horror movies, and I feel like there's like they feel an obligation to do it, and it's like so they're usually typically like lower in terms of like people's consensus of it.
Yeah. And I mean, last year was a really great year for horror, though, I will say.
Yeah. I mean,
but just in general.
I stay away from horror movies unless someone tells me that it's just a well-made movie. Like Ridley Scott's Alien, like that's a well-made movie. That's also like scary crap.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's that's why once there's all this praise for Get Out as this as both like a horror movie that's got some humor and is also has some social commentary. I'm like, all right, I'll see. It's like I'm like, all right, I'm interested in seeing this movie. Yeah. It's also directed by Jordan Peele, who's one half of Key and Peele.
Yeah.
And like based on
one half of the not Trainwreck show, Key and Peele. Yes.
Show that quite frankly you should be watching instead of listening to this. Yeah. But like because I mean, and those guys have on their show, they do like movie references, like they are big movie buffs. Yeah. So I mean, I was excited. I was interested to see how he'd do with a horror movie, and like it's really darn good.
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah.
And the very minimal use of jump scares, which I think makes them more effective. Which is like, I mean, it's like it's not. It makes it's more just like a slow build up, and I think if you haven't seen the trailer for this movie, don't watch it because it reveals way too much.
And I mean, I was gonna get to that a little later, but I mean, just before we get into that, I guess, my thoughts. I really liked it as well.
It was
It was really, yeah, and I'm surprised.
It's really entertaining.
I'm surprised that so many critics are really kind of that are even saying that it's good, because it just seems like it's a very like I feel like I honestly think I would have had different thoughts about it if I had not just known about about what people thought of it, because it's a really kind of out there film, and there were moments where I was like, are they going too far? Like, are they kind of we'll definitely more like later on, but it does go kind of head on into this issue. And the issue, and even the issue itself is really interesting.
I think we could talk about, without going into detail, we can talk about what it's commenting on, where it's like, I saw it because I didn't, before the movie came out, I saw the trailer where it's like, it's like the black boyfriend going to like the rich white girl's parents' house. I'm like, oh, this is just, I felt like it was going to be more just like overt racist movie, but it's done in a way where the commentary is more on like kind of like subconscious or just like ingrained racism, where it's just it's like, crap people say when they're around people who are like, of like different race or whatever, and it's just this stuff that it's like they act kind of differently and they say this dumb stuff that they wouldn't say to anyone else.
They wouldn't say, exactly.
It's like crap, like, he has a conversation with the family and the dad's talking about how like Jesse Owens beat his grandpa in like the Olympic trials in 1936. And he talks about how it was a great moment his dad's life. It's like, it's this guy's an ex-golfer and he's talking about like, he's like, oh, I love Tiger Woods.
Like, I love Tiger. That's like,
the movie and it's like, this movie does a great job just like showing those conversations and just how awkward it is for like everyone.
Honestly,
like there's a great in the trailers too. There's a great scene where it's just like he's at this party and it just gets like, so you just feel just like uncomfortable because you're like, oh, this is like
that was the moment where I was like, it was kind of like but that was kind of before you understood.
It's characterized a little bit and
you understand it more as the movie goes on, and it starts to kind of unravel itself, but and he in this party scene that Davis was talking about, like there's like everyone has come, this like has some compliment
that is very that it's like it's just like it's not like there's stuff where people are like, oh, like you're genetic. So they talk about, these guys talk about genetics, and it's like it's how it's just like physically,
genetic
it's
makeup,
like genetically favored, and it's just like it's not. I mean, it's like technically it's not racist, but it's still pretty. It's like
and it's like not meant to be taken. It's not meant to be. I hope it's not. By Jordan Peele. I'm sure he didn't mean for it to be taken as like that's what happens in the country, but it's really like what David said, like it's the mentality that we have, that people just inevitably have. Like I know my family does. Like anytime we go to the city, like not even like the South Side or anywhere near that, but like just the city, like they always like lock the doors and stuff, and it's just like, okay, whatever. But that sort of thing is just there, and that awkwardness is always there as well. And I just like it is done in a really kind of full frontal kind of way, but it is
it's full frontal, but it's also like never really, and I guess in a way that kind of represents how it's kind of just like, it's more about the stuff that doesn't get noticed, like the sort of stuff about race that doesn't get noticed, right? And it's like there's never, it's like like the guy's girlfriend's apologizing to him, and she's just like, she's like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. He's like, it's fine, because it's like you can tell it's like he's probably, it's like it's like the way he says it's like he feels, it just seems like it's like he's used to this kind of shit. He's used to it,
exactly. I love that.
And it's like it's kind of just the whole, and I guess the ending kind of ties into this too, but like in my mind, but it's like it's all about this sort of like stuff in our culture that's kind of just ingrained just because of like history and all this other stuff, and it's and it's kind of just drawing attention to that as being like, hey, this is something that we should be cognizant of. And I think that was, and I think it handled it pretty dang well. And also,
I was surprised. I was gonna say I'm surprised like how modern it is. I told you this right after we saw it. Just how like, because it seems like it was made like 2 weeks ago. Like people were like there's a line. I mean, there's a thing where she's like, "Oh, my dad would have voted for Obama a third term," and it's just like, okay, wait a minute. So did they add that whole thing? Because it comes back in the movie. So I'm like, wait a minute. That had to have been done like after November 11th.
No one could have a third term.
Yeah, I know. Well, yeah, but that's the point. Like,
I guess so.
Yeah, like he would have voted for Obama, but
I guess because it might have. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, because usually these movies take movies would be shot there's like a year before release.
Yeah, there's like all this. It's interesting, cool too, because it's like it accurately. It's a good like social commentary, and I think it like actually like reflects stuff pretty well. And there's like really no mention of politics either, besides that, which is like interesting to me.
Yeah,
does it really well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because it's like it's almost like it like trusts you to be aware. Like it trusts the audience to be aware of what's going on. You know,
I mean, even the Christian Science Monitor gave it a positive review. That's real surprising. Yeah, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, that's actually what I was gonna say. Like, yeah, the Christian Science Monitor. Like everyone is just like really, I guess, supportive of it. Like, and even like people that I would never think would watch a horror movie or B just a movie, like have been really like you know forward about it, and it's been getting a lot of money, which is great because it is pretty much an indie, Blumhouse
and I hope that like because of that maybe people are just gonna start being more cognizant of this stuff that the movie is asking them to be more cognizant of, and I think that's
And Chance the Rapper, who's like a rapper from Chicago, if you don't know, he like bought a whole because he saw the movie like beforehand and he loved it, and so he bought a whole like auditorium and he just told people to come for free and just awesome, watch actually. It. He does stuff like that, and so this one, and so he was clearly like really like supportive of this film and everything, and he actually has a film by A24 coming out.
Oh, interesting! I didn't know that actually.
I've never seen him act, but hopefully it's good. But yeah, so I mean that's the stuff.
Like in terms of movie as a whole, one thing that I thought worked extremely. I saw it was just in the advertising too. Using the imagery of someone crying rather than someone screaming is amazing in a horror movie. Screaming is just so overdone, and it's like there's something that's like so much more just like unnerving about just seeing someone just full on crying. That's just like, and because
that really shows like horror. I feel like that's shock.
Like true
that's
like terror.
Like screaming is so. I mean, it's it's very external and exactly, and it's just like more just like in your face.
It's just like the actor that they chose, like
Daniel Kaluuya.
He's got like pretty large eyes, I'd say. And it's like not to make fun of the guy. Just like it's like and I think that worked. It's just as an imagery, not just him, but like other characters too. Just as an image works really well.
And there's a lot of like it's very. I mean, a lot of stuff is very kind of like inconspicuous. Like there's stuff that you like. No, I don't know. Like just the whole situation, you kind of don't know exactly what's going on. Even till the end, you're kind of just like, what was that? Like you kind of just and I thought that was really great.
And it's like there's even like stuff that seems that's like self-referential to horror movies. That's like but it's like it actually works more like the sort of like strings like that kind of stuff and or even just like like there's stuff where it's like it's played with that like stereotypical horror movie music, and it's like and it kind of reminds you that stuff still kind of works, and it's like almost because you don't see that anymore, it makes it more unnerving that it's actually being that it gets played seriously. Like even like and like even I guess there's they kind of show this in the trailer, but should we spoil a little bit of it? Or no, let's wait.
Yeah, we'll wait
there's
for
a specific thing. There's I think you'll know what I'm talking about too, but it's there's a specific thing, and the effects on it look kind of hokey. But that makes it unnerving. Because it's being played straight, and you know that it's like and also just directing and then acting wise, first of all, I guess everyone gives good performances.
The friend of the main character, I thought he was great.
He's a TSA agent who talks to him on the phone, and it's like, and he kind of and again, sort of this movie's sort of self-referential horror movies. He does kind of play to the audience's point of view, where he's kind of he smells that this whole situation is kind of like he's worried about the entire situation,
because he's like a dumbass, but he's not like, but he's actually because
anyone would react this way. It's like it's like what it's like people, you could kind of react like this if you were if your friend was in this situation. You're like
and they're always in the horror movies. There's like this creepy thing or something, and the main character in like normal horror movies would just be like
people are way
in
too
shock or something. And this guy's just like what the fuck? Like also, this guy's just like he's amazing.
Again without saying too much before we go into spoilers. The way the main character acts during the climax of the movie, so plays against horror movies. I feel like, but again, it's like it's a movie that breaks these horror movie conventions and sometimes might like go against sort of the like even like just the philosophy of making a horror movie in modern day. But it's but it like in some cases where it's like it might be something that other movies play off as stupid actually kind of works well. Not that thing specifically, but we'll get to it. And
Yeah, it's a really well directed movie, and the cinematography is really good.
Yeah,
there's
a lot of. It's almost like Wes Anderson directed a horror movie because there's a lot of shots of like really hyper balanced composition.
Yeah,
and,
like, symmetry and
that's
stuff also. Yeah,
and it's off-putting because it's like everything looks. It's like
it's so orderly and so exactly, and it makes it so.
Yeah, the directing does help a lot. Makes making stuff unnerving, and it's like there's things where I was thinking about certain stuff where it's like it's shot like the way this is shot is like if you could shoot this in like with the exact same actor and like the exact same lighting, or maybe sometimes like not exact same lighting, but you shoot it in a way that makes it really like unnerving, where it might just look like this is just a guy standing over a fireplace, laying on a fireplace, like it might just look normal, but there's a definite like the movie's really good at making things seem off and making things seem like awkward and making just really just unnerving stuff. Yeah, it's really like atmospheric and really cool. Only like 5 jump scares throughout the entire thing. Oh yes, okay, thank you for bringing that up. So the scares are nice. I mean, again, it's not really a horror movie. It's more of like a kind of a thriller, kind of suspense. But there are a couple jump scare things in there. But I mean, I'll say I'm like one of those guys. Like you're kind of like a jumpy guy. I mean, I know obviously I was sitting right next to you, but like I don't know. I guess I'm just not like that. I mean, like I definitely feel it in my heart, but like not. It doesn't come out physically, maybe. But like the jump scares in this movie, they kind of use. They use a tactic that a lot of modern ones do, where even if it's something that's not scary or that's not really that bad, they'll make it scary like by having a noise. But I feel like but like James Wan, who does like The Conjurings and he did Insidious and stuff like that, like I don't know, I guess because I've seen both Conjurings and like he doesn't really do that, and I guess he kind of does rely on like actual scares, I guess. I've never gotten around to watching those Conjuring movies. I heard that they are good. Yeah, they are very good. I probably like the second one more than the first one. Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, they're both really great. But this one, they do kind of do that, and kind of do like the, got you. But it's not like something like, actually, yeah, every paranormal there is a thing. There's one in the beginning. There's one in the beginning. But like every paranormal activity movie does that. Or like those kinds of movies does that, where it's like at the beginning, it's like, oh my god, there was a noise. Mm-hmm. Oh my pan fell off the counter. Exactly, but I'll say this one, at least all of them did, and even like pertain to the overall sort of the setting, and environment. And the one, should we say it's in the trailer, the one jump scare. See, but like, I don't know. Okay, but like the one we got you jump scare in the beginning. Mm-hmm. It's like in the very beginning, like the way that the what actually happens kind of relates to the character and is actually, and it's like it's foreshadowing for stuff you learn about him later. Yeah. And it also serves for the kind of comment for also like other social commentary too, with like the scene that's in the trailer. You'll know exactly what we're talking about. Yeah. Should we go into spoilers or? Yeah, sure. So yeah, overall, not too many problems with Get Out. Like it's honest, and it's just like. And it pulls off stuff that I didn't think would work, just like like old horror movie tropes and sort of self-referential horror stuff. Yeah, and it just excellent movie. As a total horror movie wimp, I have to drive to home after this, and then I'm gonna have to drive home alone. I'm probably gonna speed home because that'll freak me out. But like, and it's not like. I wasn't like ridiculously scared. No. I mean, a lot of it's like more of like kind of psychological. So at least it's so it's not like. Yeah, and I think this movie did, I guess for us specifically, because we live in Hinsdale. Yeah. Pretty accurate. Like, I mean, it gets characterized a little bit in the party. Scene, but I think it's pretty in terms of like depicting like upper middle class like. Rich or like like the life of like the richer the richer upper class kind of. It's like it's pretty accurate depiction. And it almost made me think, because I mean, we said how that stuff kind of, you can't really stop it from happening, I feel like, and it's just like, I feel like there's always going to be, no matter how close we are, like there is going to be this sort of like invisible line, I mean, unless times just change, for the better. Did you say between me? You mean like between like race? No, like just like the whole racial thing, like between races. It's just. It's interesting, I guess, where they draw. Just like again, it's just this subconscious. It's like I think it's just like, and I'm happy that people are seeing this movie because I think it's going to kind of make people think like, oh yeah, like this is kind of something that I'm not cognizant of. Like maybe I should, take more interest in this.
Yeah,
I think it's cool.
And now that we're into the spoiler thing, I was going to start.
We're going officially spoilers now.
Yeah, the character of
Rose?
Andre. Like
okay.
how it was interesting how they made him like was he married to that woman that he was with?
Yeah,
he had to have been right. Yeah, that was just cool. Like it was interesting that they kind of went that direction, like him being that sort of, I mean, obviously brainwashed, and and married to her. I mean, I felt like that. I like that a lot.
And just like how the guy, and it's like again, works into a great gag with Rod, the friend of Chris, who he's like just yelling. He's like, brainwashed sex slave.
Brainwashed
sex slave. He's putting all the. He's like again plays that annoying trope of like horror movie characters can't put all the dots together when they're right blatantly in front of them.
Yeah, and this is what I was talking about with him, just like with Rod. He's just how he just like kind of he's like he really is like in the perspective, like the audience's like perspective, because it's like because I was referring to before that scene when she at the end when Rose calls him and he calls what's the main character's name? Chris. Yeah, when he calls Chris his phone and then she has it and she's like, hello, who is it? And it's like that creepy, she's like in that creepy thing and he's and then she's like, I know you want to have sex with me or something. Yeah, and normally they'd be like what? No. Yeah, exactly.
And did you see Mark Wahlberg happening?
Exactly. Yeah. But he's just like, what the fuck? Like he's just like, no. He's actually, this is some TSA shit.
That was some fantastic acting.
That
was just the like
on her part,
just like her keeping like a perfectly creepy like monotone face while being like oh my god, no, what happened to Chris? Like doing that, and also just like, but then it cuts her into her face. Just that was like someone, and also her betrayal. I thought I did like it was something that's like
I mean I kind of saw it coming, but it's like it was like done really well. I thought.
I mean, it's coming when he finds the pictures of her, but it's like I'm like the other thing talking about. I'm like, I think something's up.
Yeah, I kind of guessed it when she was like taking like 15 minutes to get the keys. I was like, no, I would have checked like 50 bags.
I knew once she found once he found the pictures of like her with all the the black people, because I'm like
that was a crazy, like I was literally just sinking in my chair, like just my god, just
like Chris when he gets hypnotized.
Yeah,
just like exactly. Just like the. Once he sees it, I'm like, okay, she's totally in on it. Mm-hmm. But also weird sidebar, but the fact that it's just casually her with presumably in a romantic relationship with the maid woman. Mm-hmm. I'm like, that's just in terms of having like a casual like
I love
gay
that
character. I'm like,
I love that.
They just throw that in there. It's like it's like she recruits everyone. I'm like, that's cool.
I like that. Yeah,
I'm like, it's like a small thing, but it was. Cool to have in the movie, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's the other thing I was gonna say. I mean, I guess I don't know. It's like a negative, but it's so small though. I don't think. But the scene, like, cause actually this is we're in the spoilers anyways. Yeah. So there's like that scene when the other guy who works there. I forgot what the other guy's name is.
I can't remember.
The guy, but you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. The guy, and he's like he just runs towards the camera and then darts to the right.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, what.
I thought that was just him, because he says exercise. I'm like, okay, he's just running laps around, but it's
I know, like, what was that? Because he was like, I'm sorry, like, if my exercise, like, scared you. I'm like, wait, okay, so is this guy just, because, like, was he trying to go for him? Because if he did, then he could have just gone for him, I thought. Like, there was nothing.
I think it was just, not that I remember. Because he was exercising. Just because he was exercising and then just, like, done in a way.
Yeah, maybe.
I think it might have just been a bit of like self-parody where it's like you think something's going on but it's all normal stuff, because it's like the like just like this. I mean, it's played in a way where it's like you could kind of view it as playing straight or just or as a gag, where it's like where it keeps cutting back and forth between him and Chris and all this crap.
Yeah.
There's a lot of subtle stuff in this movie too that actually works. Like or it's like that, like you might not even notice. Like when I can't remember the maid lady's name for some reason. After the crash, you can see that her hair is actually a wig. Like her hair, like really? Her hair's straight, right?
Yeah.
Then after the crash, she's like down and her hair is like more like frizzy.
Oh, okay.
You see the cut on her forehead.
Yeah,
and I'm like, And then I realized I was thinking about earlier. Then there's a scene where she's staring at the mirror and she's brushing her hairline.
brushing her hair up.
Because she has a wig. She's making sure that's covering the cut line on her head. I mean, if you're in the spoiler section, you probably Wikipedia'd this movie. Figure out what the twist is.
Yeah.
Anyway, and
Seen it,
I guess speaking of the twist, but like,
I mean, I don't know if what would you consider like a twist
or like the reveal.
We'll call it the reveal. Like there's no like Shyamalan,
right?
Not, like a 180. You know, it's not. It's just
and
kind of a build
in
up.
regards to like once he escapes. It was like I wasn't expecting him to just brutally murder everyone.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about it, I'm like, you know what? If I was in that situation, I would be pretty pissed too.
Like, I would be too, but I feel like it's so much harder to kill people like that than it looks, you know?
Right, but it's like,
I would want to stab that brother like 500 times, but it's like,
it's like all these people are like intentionally trying. It's like, like I guess he's in a situation where like, I mean, he is kind of, like a couple of them he is forced to kill. Yeah. But it's like like he knows that the mom is going to hypnotize him again. Mm-hmm. So it's like, okay, but it's like, it's like, I mean, maybe I wouldn't. I'm not strong. I couldn't kill any of those people. Yeah. But it's like, it's like, maybe it's like, I guess if you'd be. It's like, because it's like there's the horror movie thing of. Character thing if they maintain their composure and they just focus on escape and it's like these people it's like I'd fucking kill this
I'd kill this bitch right now.
Him stabbing the dad with the deer antlers was pretty
satisfying.
It should have been stupid, but it was satisfying.
So satisfying. I know. Oh my god,
the shot of the girlfriend drinking the milk and eating the Fruit Loops was one of the most uncomfortable scenes I've had. Just like where the way that she sips the milk and sits perfectly still.
Like she was like watching porn or something. Or no, she was just like Google images.
She's Bing too, which is like makes it even more unnerving. Holy crap! Like that's fucked up. No one uses
Bing. Yeah, that was like that was the weirdest part.
But just like the fact the way that she eats the Fruit Loop in like 2 bites. Yeah. And the way that she takes slow sips of the milk. But it's not in a way that's like. But she does it in a best MTV Movie Award for best drinking of milk.
Yeah. Who eats cereal? Like I can understand.
If you don't have milk,
who eats cereal. Like
if you don't have milk,
and then just drinks milk like in a glass normally. Like I would not. I don't know if you guys have some sort of dietary, like
I don't know.
But I mean,
it's basically cereal by the time it hits your stomach.
Yeah. Oh, I guess.
I guess.
Yeah, but it's like. Just like that, I don't know. Just she drank milk in a way that was unnerving, but it wasn't ridiculously like schlock. Like it wasn't like super like I guess like schlocky or like over the top dumb. Like oh look at how like crazy this character is.
Yeah, I mean I'm surprised like how well it was able to the whole thing was able to be pulled off.
And also the fact that it's just like she just gets a fucking shot at the end. Like that was pretty. It's just like.
I'm glad that it wasn't like once he takes the actually
no he kind of is that but
die,
it's like
but it's still
I don't know. It's like, I mean, I don't know. It's like it's just kind of satisfying to see this sort of thing of it's just like, he just kills. It's like, it just felt real to me. Like his like the kind of just primal rage of like you took advantage of me, and you tried to like take my life from me. Yeah.
Because that always happens in movies where, in order to kind of help the character be not a complete serial killer or something, they have him not
they just escape.
Yeah, which to me it's like I feel like that makes it worse though, because like to us it's like if we're saying that we want these guys to die and like brutally, then that's probably what you should make the character do, because you want them to be as realistic as possible. And so they a lot of did that.
Pretty I'd say a movie that knows what it knew like. It's a movie that also feels pretty restrained too. Like they knew when to go. Like they didn't make the brain sequence where he's cutting out the guy's brain super
super like
This guy's like you see him toss a little bit of bloody stuff into a bucket.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And they also it's a very compact like movie. Like, there's no excess.
No bullshit.
And no even like the ending when they just drive away and it's just boom, it's just Get Out. It's amazing. It's I love that. I love that movies do that. It kind of didn't need to.
I feel like it doesn't waste your time with the horror movie stuff of we don't know if something's going on, because it's like it's almost like you're gonna see a horror movie, something's gonna happen. It's like we don't need to. It feels like a movie where it's like we don't need to coax you into this. You know that something's gonna happen, so we're just gonna get right into this.
Exactly. Yeah, and I'm glad that they didn't do like what's the aftermath, like what's happening to the house. Like no, it's just like get the hell out of there. We're not going back there. Who cares? Which is but that must be God, like for his character though, like that must be like a life scarring. I mean, that will be a life scarring thing, but that's just crazy.
And just the whole idea, rather than even just being killed, the fact that you have to live your life watching someone, just watching eternally, screaming with like no audience, just like someone else controlling your body. That's so frightening.
And like there's that scene when he's, you know, sitting at like in the last act when he's kind of in the chair the whole time, and he asks the guy on the intercom or the guy on the screen like, why us, like why, because you know, why black people, and then he's like, because you guys are like he's like, cause like we like people that are stronger and stuff, and it's just like
in a weird awkward way where it's like, oh, it's like black people are in fashion now, and it's like all this weird stuff where it's like,
and it's like and it's like weirdly kind of realistic, and it's just kind of makes you look at everything and really differently, and it's, you know, it's
and I like that it's sort of the justification of the guy of like, hey, like I'm a photographer, I'm gonna use your natural talent, and it's like kind of like realistic, and no, just like a kind of nice little touch there, like in terms of like it's not just some random guy.
We should see more movies like more social commentary movies like these that are like multi-genre. Yeah, exactly, like genre films that do and like something.
Also
you know?
Worth mentioning too. It's the end of the movie. I guess we'll spoil it for people who didn't see it, but it's like you see a police car pull up, and you expect, and then the girlfriend, actually, like the girlfriend smiles because she's like, oh, it's gonna be a police car and you're gonna get arrested for killing all. Like as she's dying, she kind of smiles because she's like, oh, it's, you know, police car, you're gonna get arrested. And you think that it's sort of a red herring at the beginning of the movie that the police officer doesn't trust him and asks his ID even though he's not driving. And it's like even though it's a social commentary movie, it's like they can drive on something. It's like and that's. It's like nice that even though the movie is a social commentary, it's not gonna give you some heavy-handed bullshit ending where the main character gets like sent to prison. It's like even though it's trying to do it, because that would make it ultimately a true social commentary, and I feel like I wouldn't. I feel like I would. My enjoyment of the movie would be stifled at the cost of social commentary, and I feel like that's not really the movie's commentary isn't really going for that aspect of racism. It's going more just for like the awkward kind of like mannerisms of people dealing with people of other races. And I thought that was, and I'm glad, and I'm sure that was a conscious decision on their part to just be like, yeah, it's like people are gonna think it's gonna go here, so let's just actually give him and I was glad that, you know, he still gets I mean, he's obviously scarred for life, but he still gets an ending that's satisfying.
Yeah. And I feel like that was kind of a metaphor almost for like sort of what it is like, because it's like, you know, as like we can go through, you know, all this stuff, but at the end of the day, like no matter how much kind of crap they might go through with other races and stuff, what's great and why they still survive is because they have each other, like they have community and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that.
You know, so that's kind of, that might be why, you know, they had Rod be the one and be like, yo, let's go, and like we're getting out of here.
Yeah, and it's like there's so much stuff that could have made, I guess, like, I mean, these are issues. I mean, obviously, like, what I'm about to bring up is like they're serious issues that should be dealt with seriously. But I think stuff that could have made, like, there wasn't a diatribe when because like there's a scene where the mom's like trying to like through hypnosis guilt tripping him about not calling the police on his mom.
Yeah,
it's like there could have been a scene where he's like, oh, I didn't call, you know, it's talking about makes commentary on police relations with you know, like, you know, like the African American community in place like the south side of Chicago, and it's just like but they don't go into that because that's not like it's not important for the movie.
That's true. Yeah,
and it's like that's one, and it's like that's a real issue, but it's like the movie ultimately it does want to be entertaining more than like it does want to be entertaining, and it's like it does get a balance of like doing this social stuff and doing this you know, and like entertainment stuff, and it does get, and it's like, I mean, like, it's like, I don't mind, to be clear, I don't mind seeing this stuff in a movie. It's just like, the movie, I feel like, knows kind of that knows that it wants to be entertaining more than heavy-handed.
Does it say where it takes place?
No, they say, I'm pretty sure to make it more, like, more sort of like fairy tale-like or kind of timeless. Is like, they say the city.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
It's like, oh, you came from the city.
Yeah, I do recall them saying the city and stuff. Wow, that's interesting that they don't.
It could very well just be Hinsdale.
Yeah.
It could be. Well, because I'd say I mean I don't live. I mean, I'd say
I don't really live.
We don't live in like the super. I don't live in like this the crazy part. I live on the fringe of that. I guess like the. But it's like I don't live in the crazy ludicrous rich part of Hinsdale.
Yeah.
I'm like. Now I'm suspicious.
Yeah, honestly though, I mean, because it's like
now I might get abducted.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah.
It's yeah. I mean, it's just it was a really really well made movie. It's such an unexpected thing. I mean, especially because from a guy who's like hasn't even. I mean, I don't even think he's direct. I mean, maybe he has directed some of their sketches. Maybe. I mean, I know he hasn't directed a film before. But and he's purely comedic guy. I'm glad that this is gonna be, I think, the movie, because he was in like the Lego Movie, I think, and he was in like Storks or something. So he's done some comedy related voice stuff, but this is the movie that and he was in, obviously, Keanu. But I think this is really the movie that's gonna get him, because he also wrote it, I think, as well. So he's this is gonna get him some work. I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's the only thing he's credited as directing.
That's
on IMDb.
Awesome. Yeah, and all the people in this film, like Daniel Kaluuya has been in others. He was in Sicario, I just read, and like what was he in? He was in something else. I think he was in. Wait, never mind. Yeah, he was in some other stuff. But then and then like all the and then the girl who plays his girlfriend, was it Allison Williams or something? She is like in nothing else. Which is, so it's like there are a lot of newcomers in this.
Yeah,
a lot of people we'll be seeing again, especially, I think Rod. I feel like Rod's just going to, like, I don't want him to be like Kevin Hart, like a super, almost overproduced kind of guy just on the front of everything. But I think he's going to be here for a while, because he honestly, like, I mean, he doesn't steal the movie because he's not in that much, to be honest, but he's really good in it.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. He really does establish a lot of the tone.
Yeah, and I think this movie it kind of does in a way sort of push a lot of the envelope for horror movies. Just in terms
it really
of,
does.
That cry, I can't get over I can't stress enough how effective that cry, like the motif of people crying is.
Yeah, it is. It really is. Yeah.
And just like and this that cinematography, just the way it focuses on those people, really good cinematography.
Really good. Like,
and almost just like the way that it's
motion and stuff,
and the way like the composition, the way that it's like the way that then just like the unnervingness of perfection, like is that's a works just
there's so many themes in this movie that I want to see. I do really want to see it again.
I promise
again too.
Well, because I promised someone I'd take them this weekend, so I'm gonna.
That's good.
It again.
Yeah, I hope it's not kind of overshadowed by the end of the year. Like I hope it's not forgotten, I guess. But I feel like that doesn't happen, and like because we say like Nice Guys, but like Nice Guys is pretty remembered now, I'd say. I mean, I think
I actually didn't see that many people talking about it.
Oh, really? I mean, because I know it like pretty much bombed at the box office, but
sucks.
Yeah, it really does suck. Yeah, it really does suck.
Go see The Nice Guys.
Yeah, please go. Because like no one I know
what the movie is.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't look it up, The Nice Guys. Ryan Gosling is in it. If you Crowe. Like that sort of thing. Russell Crowe, yeah.
Another movie with Ryan Gosling in LA driving an old style car.
Yeah. Except, exactly.
Ryan Gosling in LA equals good movie.
Yeah.
Drive, Nice Guys, La La Land.
Oh, Drive is LA, right? Yeah, it is.
I rest my point.
Yeah. It's only got. Oh no, that's like China or something. No, that's something like that.
Oh my God. Isn't that like Thailand?
Yeah, it's like Taiwan.
We're talking about
Only God Forgives. Yeah. Have you seen it? It's it's an interesting one. But yeah. Anyways, Get Out, great, really great.
Get out of your house to go see Get Out.
Wow.
Immaculate. All right.
All right.
Let's get on to some news stuff.
Yeah. There was a lot of stuff that's happened from last time, because
so South by Southwest happened.
Yes,
and like
I want to go to a film festival so bad.
Yeah, and it's like those are the kind of movies I care about, where it's like seems like a lot of good stuff is happening there.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I could just say random stuff off the top of my head that I remember. So The Disaster Artist premiered,
which is exciting because I remember hearing about that movie for a while.
Yeah, with James Franco's directing it, and he's starring in it with Seth Rogen, and Dave Franco's in it also. Who played? I forgot who Dave Franco plays, but I remember. But so
basically,
James Franco's like him and Tommy Wiseau actually he's a great casting for that. Actually, I think. Yeah. But
so,
you go on.
So The Disaster Artist. I'm sure. I think a lot of people are familiar with The Room, which is. It's widely considered the worst movie ever made.
Yeah, I mean there are a lot of movies like that.
You probably,
but it is like
even if you know about it, even if you don't know about it, you've probably heard it referenced somewhere like by someone.
Yeah,
just because it's like a common it's like pretty commonly known. But so and there's a guy who acted in it, plays the character of Mark, and he was the. Basically, The Room is the vision of one man, Tommy Wiseau, who he wrote it, directed it, and produced it, and starred in it. Mm-hmm. And it's like, and then afterwards, the guy who played Mark, who's like, again, was this guy's best friend and like this, you know, like the main one of the main characters in the movie. He wrote this book called The Disaster Artist, talking about what Tommy Wiseau is like and like what it was like to make the movie. And so, and it's a movie that I want to see because because it's like, I bet it's like, again, there's a madness to that movie.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, it takes a certain man to make this movie.
There's so many behind the scenes things like about how like the whole crew just gave up on him and was like, this is dumb, what are you doing? And so he literally fired everyone and bought with his own money, which who knows how he got so much money, but he got his own crew to make the movie and to make the rest.
There's a conspiracy about how he got the money.
Yes, I remember I was there.
There's some like European bank robbery that occurred like a year or two before, and the man who committed the robbery matched the description of Tommy Wiseau.
That's so freaking, oh my god.
That's
crazy.
But yeah, so that's just the movie.
Yeah, so the Disaster Artist, so he made because the guy who Mark in the film, but I forgot the actor's name is. But
we don't have to call the room a film. Just call it a movie.
Yeah, the movie, whatever.
The piece. I don't think it qualifies as a. I don't think it qualifies as a.
I guess
this relic. This piece of art. I don't know. Not even art. Like it certainly exists.
Yeah,
it is a series of
images
and sound put together to produce the feeling of watching a moving image.
Yeah, that pretty accurately fits the description.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'd say I guess the actor who plays Mark, he knows what it is. More than Tommy Wiseau does, because I guess Tommy Wiseau is kind of either he's just in the like heavy denial or
because I think Tommy Wiseau has very sadly embraced it.
Mm-hmm, yeah,
and now I think he claims now that he made it because he knew he was making a bad movie, but I think he really was trying. And now he just,
I really do. Think
and I feel bad for that man because he has to go through every day of his life knowing that people are constantly referencing his movie as being a terrible movie.
Exactly, he makes a lot of money from the screenings and stuff.
Yeah,
where people throw spoons at because like the spoon, there's like a whole spoon thing.
Yeah.
And so people throw spoons at the screen. Like it's like a thing that theaters do, and they'll hand out spoons and stuff. It's like it's like people have fun with the movie a lot, and he does Q&As and stuff like with screenings, which is interesting. And so South by Southwest, based on the book, I guess. James Franco directed a film called The Disaster Artist. Yeah, and it's not a documentary; it's like an actual film, I guess. Yeah. Which is kind of interesting, and I want to see how the whole thing went down. So it'll obviously be dramatized, but it's like I'm sure it will be. But it's a subject matter where I'm interested to see. I'm just interested. Yeah, I would love to see a dramatized account of what actually happened with. And this. I'm really interested in. I want to see the actual movie first because I haven't seen it yet, but. I've seen obviously clips. Yeah. But one thing I also want to talk about, the next news thing was the Wonder Woman trailer came out. Oh yeah. Which I've been choosing not to see trailers nowadays. It doesn't show that much outside of the. Okay. It was like. Okay. Because I'm moderately. I'll say this. I'm pretty like. Okay. We'll have before Wonder Woman. I'll give my thoughts. We'll go knee deep in that. We'll give our thoughts on it. I'm pretty excited about Wonder Woman. Yeah, and then my thing, I guess, is I like Wonder Woman as a character. And I think the trailer looks okay, and but it's like, it's difficult because it's like, if this was, let's say this was a Batman movie, that looked like maybe this is and the trailer looked okay, but I was skeptical about seeing it. I feel like I would definitely not see it, but there's then that issue too of like representation of like women in action movies, and it's like I want to see that more, and it's like, but if I don't support this movie, like. And it actually bombs because a lot of the same people have the mentality that I do. Mm-hmm. But if that has negative consequences on the industry as a whole, and it's like, it's a weird dilemma that I'm in where it's like, because I've been burned too many times by DC movies. Yeah. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to see this, but I don't know. It's, and I think we'll probably end up doing is I think we should have you watch it because I think you're excited for it more than I am, and I think you should watch it, come on this show, and then try to convince me to not see it. Yeah, okay. We'll do that because I think I'm just gonna start doing that with DC and X-Men movies now. Yeah, because I feel like Marvel has earned my trust. Like their movies aren't amazing every time. Like I think recently, like Civil War and Winter Soldier have been pretty they've been going above and beyond with some of their movies, but they always end up hitting their mark. So it's like I trust them. But I don't know. Wonder Woman is specifically because of that, like
because of that representation kind of thing that I'm a big like, I want to support. It's like it's difficult for me to. I think again, if this was Man of Steel 2, I probably would be much more. It would be much more easy for me, I think, to make the decision to just be like, I'm not going to go see this. I don't care about this. It's interesting.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from. But my thing, I guess, so I saw the teaser trailer from like Comic-Con, the very first one. I love that first trailer, and then I think I saw the one after it, and the whole thing is so I love the idea of a World War One. Wonder Woman.
Okay, I've got one more comment to make about this.
Okay,
you keep going.
Okay, but I guess my only thing, and part of the reason why I didn't want to watch the trailer is because I just didn't want to be shown anything that was going to be from the third act, because I just didn't.
That's what they did with Batman vs Superman.
And yes, exactly, and. It just, I hope, because just that second trailer that I saw, like towards the end, it just got very, like I liked Wonder Woman being in a World War One setting because it's, grounded on Earth and it has all this stuff. But then with all these announcements that, how big it's going to be and how it's going to lead to bigger things and how Ares is now going to be the bad guy. And it's just like, okay, like how super duper are you going to get? How big and high stakes is this going to, become, especially with the movie like Logan just coming out, which is so, again, I would have wanted more personally. We just talked about that, but, it's just still very, grounded and, just very central to, just what the character is and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't want to go too big and grand with it, which is why I don't. So what were you going to say?
One sec.
All right. Yeah. I will check.
Yeah, anyways, we're doing other stuff, but because my thing too was because it seems like DC's just abandoning this going for a darker tone.
Yeah.
Like it seems like they've just they're trying to go like the sort of like Marvel direction, but what sucks is this is the movie that would have actually worked.
In that
like the backdrop of like the horror of World War One.
Exactly.
That would have worked, and just like that would have worked. And just like trench warfare and how horrible that is, and just like,
I mean, I think anything. To be honest, I think anything could work with that. The problem, like, people don't have problems with BVS because like the tone, like it's not because it's dark. It's because the writing was not good.
It's handled well, but it's at a certain point you can't make Superman dark. I don't know. It's like I just think it's and then it's like if you wanted to go for grit, it's like you could have. I think that would have been interesting dilemma where it's like Wonder Woman's like she doesn't know who to, she's thrust in the situation, and she's at first she kind of sees like Britain or Great Britain and like France and the United States as the people who are right, but then maybe as she gets more embroiled in this, she doesn't know like whose side she falls on.
Yeah, exactly.
And because it's like both sides are using these like horrible tactics like mustard gas and all this crap, and it's just like.
So this is like a kind of minor thing, but so I guess they all have like accents and stuff in it, I guess, right? I mean, that's what I've kind of heard. Like all the like people in Themyscira.
Oh, like the Amazons.
Yeah, like the Amazonians, they have like accents. I mean, is that like didn't throw you off or anything?
No.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm still not super convinced. I don't know.
On her? Or?
On Gal Gadot. I don't know why.
I mean, I don't know. Like, we'll just have to wait and see, because I don't know. I'm one of the people that just doesn't think she was necessary in BBS at all.
People really liked her in Batman vs Superman, but I think she was okay,
but like she didn't have much to do. I mean,
she's an okay actress in the middle of like a flaming car wreck.
Yeah, exactly. With like a giant rock monster.
So it's like people are like, oh my god, she was amazing in that movie, because it's like nothing else really works.
Yeah, I mean, like what? Yeah, exactly.
Ben Affleck's Batman. His performance works, but the writing for that character doesn't work at all.
Yeah, he's probably my favorite like live action Batman.
A great performance is totally squandered by terrible writing.
Exactly, and which is what it all goes down to.
She had a decent performance that had a role that was small enough where they couldn't screw it up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's like, and she like hardly has been talking in the trailers and stuff. But I was gonna say also about the darker stuff. Like I will agree that like you can't. I mean, making it literally like it's like these movies are like this look very kind of depressing and dour and stuff. I mean, you can make like All-Star Superman is a dark. But it's like it's like hopeful and it's light, like, exactly. And it fits within the character, but it has dark themes.
That's what I'm saying. Like I guess you can't make Superman Batman, which is what they tried to do with Man of Steel.
Yeah.
And I feel you can make Superman serious, but I don't like with dark. And I think a dark tone for Superman movie shouldn't come from him being an anti-hero.
Yeah.
but I think it should come from him having to be put into a situation where where he doesn't know how to make a decision, and he doesn't know what it's like it's a gray area situation.
Yeah, like Superman going through like existential crises and stuff. Like I like that. Like that's Superman so interesting to me. And I
like if you, I mean, I don't like Superman that much, but it's like if like Superman has never clicked for you, read All Star Superman. That's an amazing.
It really is
an
great.
amazing piece of work.
Yeah, and if you want, you can watch the animated version of it too. I think it's really good.
I haven't seen the animated version.
Yeah, it's good. But that scene and the good thing is like BVS. There was that one scene that I would have appreciated if it was obviously in a better movie.
Right.
Which is when he calls his mom and he just like, I mean, it's like not, even in the movie it's kind of whatever, but that a concept of like Superman, like the most powerful man ever, like calling his mom about a problem, like that's such a cool, like it's so, that's so human, and it's just like I like that so much, but it's all about having the rest of it. Just if it works, then that just carries so much more weight.
Even like with Man, there's a little bit of Man of Steel that works.
I'm actually one of the few that actually kind of like enjoy Man of Steel.
Yeah, we talked about this in an earlier episode, I think. But there's some stuff in that movie that I think works.
Yeah,
and I'm a bit disappointed to see that because they placed all their trust in like Zack Snyder, who's like they put all their trust in Zack Snyder, which is like. He's a good cinematographer, but as a director, it's like giving a bunch of heavy concepts to a 12-year-old who just wants to see people fight, quite frankly. As evidenced by his version of Watchmen. But it's, and I'm disappointed that they're just giving up on it because they didn't get it right. So it just feels like, this doesn't work, so we're just going to go for like the thing that everyone else is doing. It's like, I would have loved to see a Wonder Woman movie where it's done with serious undertones. That would have been interesting.
They have like 17 films in production and like in development right now. I guess it's crazy. Yeah, they have so much going on.
Should we talk about?
We should talk about other stuff. Do you have something like I mean, I guess just to kind of finish it off, I was gonna say that I just hope that they're. I hope it's not jarring. I hope the change between, because Justice is Wonder Woman like I think Justice League is the first non-dark kind of film. I feel like Wonder Woman might still have some of that. I hope it does.
Okay,
but I don't know. But
the worst case scenario for Wonder Woman is that it turns out like a Suicide Squad where they filmed it dark and then they filmed one half of it dark and then they reshot all of it.
Oh my god! Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I found out.
I
found out that like everyone at my lunch. I found out today that everyone at my lunch table liked Suicide Squad, and I went through an existential crisis.
Oh my. Hey, well, No,
I'm being sarcastic. But
of course, yeah.
I had to hold in my rage because that's like that's a movie that I like. Sometimes I like legitimately get like. It's hard for me to legitimately get angry about a movie. Like I'll yell about a movie on this show, but it's all in good fun.
Oh yeah.
But it's like that's a movie where it's a movie that I was like.
I remember just like sitting in the theater watching that because I was thinking like, okay, you know what, BVS, it just I guess no, but I was like, Suicide Squad can't be like it can't be worse, like because it just looks so like everything looks right, and it is like everything that people would like parody and stuff like that. Everything that people would just say just to be pessimistic just cause like that it happened that way. And it's just like, oh my god, like that it's hard for something like that to I mean
what are we? Some kind of Suicide Squad?
You see, and and it's just that and other things that,
and just like and there's a YouTube channel I watch called Folding Ideas, and the guy on there I think is like an actual editor. And he just points out how much of an editing even stuff like I don't it's hard for me to notice editing. Like I think that's like
oh really
when analyzing a movie that's the one thing that I'm always able to focus on directing and like cinematography and composition elements.
Yeah.
And, like camera stuff much more than I am editing for whatever reason. I don't know why, but it's like that movie looks like a total editing nightmare.
Yeah. I will say, actually, staying on DC though, there's also the news that Matthew Vaughn, I guess, is in Warner Brothers' plans to direct Man of Steel 2, and I guess like not just that, but
every director they've had has fallen through.
Exactly, yeah, except for thankfully Matt Reeves. I just don't know, Hopefully you can, I kind of have faith just because like it doesn't look like they're rushing with that. Yeah. I feel like it's kind of just
honestly, you know what? And then speaking because Mel Gibson got put in for Suicide Squad 2.
That's crazy.
I honestly hope they just keep him there just because I've fucking given up on DC, like on Suicide Squad so hard, and it's like I just don't care, and it's like make as bad. I'm like I just want them to make the craziest terrible movie that they can. And
well, I mean, Mel Gibson's a really great director, though. Like I just think
he's a good director, but he's kind of a nut.
Oh yeah, he is. Yeah.
Like I just want to see what kind of nutty Jesus symbolism movie he makes out of like Deadshot and Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I don't know.
That is honestly so insane that he's actually in talks, because literally at some film festival, like someone asked him about kind of like budgetary, constraint, like about just like handling budgets and stuff, and he was like, yeah, so like Hacksaw Ridge, we only had like several $1 million, but this Batman vs Superman movie had like $200 million and it sucked ass. Like he was like, he literally said that, and it was hilarious, but it's great. Just so funny that he's like he's like, oh, this is perfect, this guy should do Suicide Squad too. It's just so weird. Yeah. It's like, okay,
I don't know how you connect the dots. Maybe the movie has a bunch of anti-Semitic jokes in it, and they wanted the right director to do it.
Oh my! I mean, on a kind of like, on a more, I guess, like honest, like serious note, I think he's okay. Like I think I've kind of given him the benefit of the doubt at this point. Maybe he's a nut still for sure.
Yeah. Anyways, but it's like more South by Southwest stuff. More stuff from at South by Southwest. Charlize Theron is a movie called Atomic Blonde, which sounds really interesting. Where people are essentially saying it's like she plays sort of like a female James Bond in like in the Cold War era, and it's done in the style of John Wick, and that sounds awesome.
It's from one of the directors of the first.
Yeah, because I've always pushed to have a female Bond, because I've always thought that would be I've always thought that would be a cool like thing to just do.
Yeah,
I don't know.
And it's not just like the exact same thing as Bond, but with a girl. Like she is, I guess, in this. Is she like a robot or something in this?
I have no idea.
Yeah, because I don't know, because I haven't seen the trailer and I don't really want to. Again, you guys know. But there's a Red Band trailer up.
Because the name Atomic Blonde, I mean, like that's. I don't know.
It's such a cool title. Like that's so.
Because I'm
cool.
like, because I didn't know if it was that or just the fact that it's like it's a Cold War movie, and that sounds like a total like thriller. That sounds like a '60s title or like a '70s kind of like title for a movie. But and then going on to other movies, just because I think we're trying to end it pretty soon. Like Edgar Wright did a movie called Baby Driver, which is like a movie about a getaway driver. Edgar Wright, he him.
Three Cheers, the Cornetto trilogy.
But so he's done Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and World's End, and I guess
Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah, I was gonna say more people here probably know. I feel like more people at this point probably know him for Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah, he was going to do Ant-Man, but then there were creative.
Yeah, I feel like you can still. There's still Edgar Wrighty parts of that movie.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I still think that I'm actually a big fan of Ant-Man. I think it turned out okay.
Yeah, the villain's kind of shitty, but
yeah, for sure. But
I could give a shit about the last 15 minutes of that movie, but the actual all the stuff leading up to the big climax is pretty and fun.
Yeah, like the first and second acts are really cool.
I'm trying to see what else is on here.
Yeah, but
Netflix is gonna complete Orson Welles' film The Other Side of the Wind? I think I'm trying to get it load.
The other side, or wait, is it The Other Side of the Wind? The Other Side something.
Yeah, or I don't want to be
loading of the
the Other Side of the Wind.
Yeah, Other Side of the Wind.
So because Orson Welles made best movie ever, Citizen Kane, and then he died while making The Other Side of the Wind, and apparently Netflix is going to try to.
So what does it mean by complete? Like, are they gonna? Did he shoot half of it, and they're gonna just? Yeah, we're trying to read this.
Sorry, filibuster. While I read this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. Apparently he was just like trying to get it, like he never like he like legitimately like never finished it.
Yeah. So wait, is John Huston like, is he like the co-director or something?
No, because I know he's
John Huston. John Huston. Oh, he's acting in it.
He plays a director essentially, and it's like apparently, and I think they're just trying to. It's like he legitimately. It's not like the film like was finished and never released. Like he legitimately never finished it. Mm-hmm. I think they're gonna try to complete it, and
so with new actors and stuff too, or
I don't know.
Yeah,
because it seems like he was trying to. This is an Eraserhead situation where it says he started in the 70s, but he was still working on it through his like death in the
Oh wow!
Or no, he didn't die in the 2000s. What am I saying? I'm drunk.
Wait, I think
he died in the 80s because I remember it was right after he did the
Transformers, right? Yeah, Unicron, right?
Yeah. Best that movie's living proof that you can make a good Transformers movie. The 1980s, animated Transformers movie. Yeah, he died in the 80s.
Yeah, because that movie came out 85 or 86?
I think 86.
Yeah, 86. Yeah.
So he said he like was working on it for 40 years and he was trying to shoot it since the 70s and all this crap. So and you know why I'm skeptical about this? AI. It's a Stanley Kubrick movie completed by Steven Spielberg, and the Spielberginess totally undercuts the Kubrick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Also Netflix. I don't know. Netflix. I mean, I a lot of their films, and we will see because we forgot to kind of bring this up last time, but also Martin Scorsese's new movie was bought by Netflix. Yeah. The Irishman. Yeah. Not Joe Pesci, but with Al Pacino and Robert De Niro. Was bought by Netflix, which I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, I think it's cool, I guess, but I kind of wanted to see it in a theater. But I'm sure they'll make it, theatrical anyways. But but I mean, we'll see with that movie and then with all this other stuff that Netflix has been picking up from South by Southwest and stuff. That if they kind of, because so far they have like those Adam Sandler movies and I don't know, and like some couple of other things.
That's one Ridiculous Six. I'm pretty sure actually has a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Does it really?
And it's the most viewed thing on Netflix.
What?
Of all time.
Most viewed just thing?
Most viewed thing on Netflix.
What? Not Friends? Not like...
Okay, I think because for several months, I think they put it in the recommend to, where it loads up immediately after you finish something. Yeah. So I think half of that is just from people being drunk on their couch and not noting, or being into Netflix and chill and not realizing that an Adam Sandler movie's going on.
God, that's the worst thing to Netflix and chill do.
Oh my god. Yeah, you're in the middle of Netflix and chill and suddenly I'm Adam Sandler in the Ridiculous Six. That's not even what he sounds like.
Yeah, I mean,
that's giving Adam Sandler too much credit for being funny.
Oh Jesus!
But so that's a thing. And then, mystery movie pick segment. I didn't watch it. Did you watch Ikiru?
No, I have not.
Okay, I didn't watch Ikiru either. So we're never gonna get this done. Yeah. So we are just going to draw.
Yeah, we're gonna draw one. I'm gonna try to see Ikiru and the one we're gonna do right now.
Okay, let me just make sure because these are all.
I've been wanting to see Ikiru for like months now.
Try to sort out. There's a couple blank ones.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, so we Mr. Movie Pick a couple weeks ago, as you'll remember, was Ikiru. However, we never... I didn't have time to... I got a Nintendo Switch, so I had a duty to play Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
That's my excuse.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm just going to shuffle these around and pick one. And we got... Okay, wait, hold on, sorry. Oh crap, no. So we just had a fiasco where we thought we lost like the 1 hour and a half recording that was before this. It's fine though. Unlike last time.
Oh my god.
Turns out GarageBand just needed to update. I'm gonna give it a listen back through tomorrow before I upload it. Hopefully I'll wake up at like 4 a.m, listen to the whole thing. Hopefully it'll be fine. But yeah, so we're gonna we might watch the crew before next week, but like it might just Here's the thing.
Try.
So here's the thing.
Yeah.
If we don't watch it, then it'll just become an inside joke where we will never watch Ikiru.
Yeah.
And then the day that you come in and you tell me, Davis, I watched Ikiru means that this podcast is breaking up. Yeah. You've broken the promise.
Yeah,
all right.
Broken the promise.
Let's flip it. The movie for next week is...
What is it? Neon Demon.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So this is a movie that's on Amazon Prime Video. I find myself in another position where I got to talk about a spooky movie because I think I've heard this movie is really messed up.
I mean, it's not spooky. It's just
it
has some images.
Yeah,
you know?
It's by Nicholas Winding Refn, who did Drive is probably what it's most famous for. A bunch of other movies.
Yeah, Only God Forgives.
I know Nick
Rising and Fear X and
I've only seen Drive actually.
Oh really? Okay.
No, wait. I know Only God Forgives. Sorry, but I know Nick, very divisive director. I know Nick Kopovic loves Drive, but he absolutely hates Bronson. With
that's so. I don't think he has a real reason to hate Bronson.
I think he's afraid of seeing. I think he's because he talks about Tom Hardy's dick. I think he's just jealous, or he's jealous of Tom Hardy's dick, or afraid of seeing Tom Hardy's dick.
Yeah, one of the two.
Anyways,
but I mean, it's not bad.
So yeah, Neon Demon.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I don't regret my decision. This was my choice because I wanted to write it down so I would be forced to watch it because I'm a little scared. I was a little hesitant to watch the movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, finally I picked.
Well, now you're forced to watch it now, which is good. And I've already seen it, so I don't really need to. I mean, I could see it again, I guess, but.
Yeah. This is probably the most accessible. This one I'd say is the most accessible in terms of being able to get it. If you have Amazon Prime, you can get it for free. And if you don't have Amazon Prime, I think they give you like a 1 month free sort of thing.
Yeah, it's rated R. It's very rated R.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
it has a lot
that
of
too.
And it's
and this is probably the shortest. I mean, this is pretty short. I think it's like hour. It's only like 2 hours, right?
I think it's like an hour 40. Yeah.
Actually, Moon was pretty short. Hopefully, we'll be better than Moon.
Moon was pretty short. Yeah. Hopefully, yeah.
But yeah.
In my opinion, I think.
So overall, I think this is it's probably the high. Besides the Oscars, I think probably this is like in terms of just having a normal episode where we just talk about movies. This is probably the highest batting average we've had in terms of having two really solid movies. Actually,
yeah, really, honestly, it has been. Well, I mean, like the Lego Batman John Wick one.
Oh, that's true. I was blanking out about because I remembered I knew we did Split and Rise. And Rise, and we did Oscars, but I couldn't remember what the
Split and Rise.
I couldn't remember what the two middle movie. I couldn't remember what the two movies that we did for episode 2 were.
Yeah, both really good ones too.
I'm trying to.
This year's been so good.
I'm desperately trying to think of a connection between Get Out and Logan because so far we've. Because we had a weird connection with Lego Batman and John Wick 2 where they were sequels to movies that no one thought would succeed.
Yeah.
And then
Logan, I mean, man.
Yeah. Oh, I guess in next episode we should mention.
Yeah.
Next episode, going up in 2 weeks, we will talk about Beauty and the Beast is the big movie coming out this week, and we'll talk about King Kong Skull Island, which came out last Friday, as of this recording, which is Wednesday the 15th.
Yeah, 15th.
And we'll be talking about those. Of course, we planned it perfectly, so we'll be talking about 2 movies with CGI monsters.
Yeah.
And so you've already seen Beauty and the Beast.
Yes, I have.
Yes, he got some special promotion thingy.
Yeah, it's a special. Yeah, I went last Monday, and I saw it.
Give us some general thoughts without spoilers, just real quick.
Yeah. Okay. So this is. The Disney live action ones that I've seen so far: Alice in Wonderland, Jungle Book, Cinderella, I think, and this one.
That's pretty much all of them, right?
Yeah, but then there was like Maleficent, which I didn't see, and then there was like the sequel to Alice in Wonderland, which whatever. In terms of so I'm gonna rank them from least enjoyable for me to most. I'm gonna say Alice in Wonderland, and then Cinderella, and then Jungle Book, and then Beauty and the Beast.
How much did you like Jungle Book?
I like Jungle Book a lot.
Oh, okay.
It was pretty much the same thing. I mean, I thought I think I said this before. I did say this before. I remember in like the last episode, like the kid, it was just kind of, I don't know, it's just kind of hard to. Because, I mean, it doesn't look fake, obviously. I mean, It deserved, it got all of the accolades.
You can tell he's looking at a ball on a stick.
But yeah, you kind of can. And, in his delivery, it just kind of takes me out of it. Like, again, I said this before, but like, the can we play, like, Baloo, and it's just one of those things where you're like, oh, whatever, it's a kid's movie, it's for kids, whatever. But it is a very, like, mature movie, though, like, in many ways also. And they do introduce, like, the red, what's it called? Like, the red, like, fury or something like that, like the fire, like the whole thing about fire and everything, which is like different than it was a lot more mature than the original, which is just like a bunch of like musical numbers strung together.
That's what all Disney movies are.
Yeah.
Excuses for musical numbers.
Oh my god. We'll get into. Oh wait, yeah, we will really get into Disney stuff next week when we talk about Beauty and the Beast.
We'll complain about Disney movies next. You can expect a lot of complaining about Disney movies next week.
Yeah. Sure. I mean, but I will say though that I love this live action movie. Like there definitely are things that I'll talk about in probably more in depth next week. But I mean, I really enjoyed it. It's really fun. It's funny. It's really funny too. And like I was in an audience like that was packed, like full. I almost like had nowhere to sit. And it was just like by the end of it, people were like really happy, clapping and everything. It's just like a really pleasing movie. It's not people aren't just like unsure. And by the way, and I just want to get this out of the way, this whole gay thing that's going on is completely overblown. I just want to say that right now because this whole thing about LeFou is handled well, but like it's not even like if I had not read any of the articles, I wouldn't even have known. Like it's that. Kind of just unimportant. But in that way, it's even better because it's not this sort of.
But I mean, like in that way, is it did they flesh out that character, or is it like, or is it just that the gay thing is never brought up?
It's just never. Well, it's never brought up in a significant way. In the end, there's like a split thing, like a little thing. People are calling it like the gay scene in Beauty and like it's not. Like it's not even a scene. It's a moment. It's like a little 2-second thing. But it's not like he goes through. I mean, he does, I guess, but it has nothing to do with like his sexuality. Yeah. You know, but the sexuality thing is just kind of an added thing, and it's kind of like in the animated movie, kind of is. I mean, whatever. But you know, it's a cool thing. You know, and
I think the better way to go would just be flesh out that character and actually make it meaningful.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's like, you know,
but people like refusing to see it because of that, like no, like that's just like even if you're anti like LGBT or whatever, like it's still just not worth it. Just go see the movie and have fun, because it's not much.
Just Disney movies always seem to have that appeal of like no matter. I guess that's part of my complaint about Disney movies. I guess is, they're too safe. It's like everyone can, like there's no like meat. I guess like even Logan has the mutant thing. The fear and the hunting down of mutants has a certain. I mean, the X-Men have always been minority. Yeah, that's the whole idea behind it. It's a universal metaphor for minorities. And
I'm pretty sure that's why Serene McKellen joined in the first place.
That's what they've always been. In the '60s, it was more regarding like the civil rights movement. Now it's like it's applicable. Every single X-Men story is applicable. Applicable.
Yeah, applicable
to like really any civil rights like movement. And it's like Logan. It's like there's a certain. Just the fact that he, you know, just like this stuff about he goes over the border at one point, and it's like you see like border security and all this stuff, and it's like, and there's a certain connotation to like mutants being hunted out of the U.S. to extinction. In the near future, that's like holds a certain, you know, kind of, I guess. Just, I mean,
exactly.
And it's like I don't know. I've never seen it really. I mean, Zootopia was a relevant Disney movie.
It was, yeah. And I'm, you know,
but then it was kind of just like race. It's racism is bad.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
which I mean,
and like speaking of that, I guess like the songs are great and everything like that. But I guess to like just like two negatives or whatever. I guess like a lot of the things we'll talk about it next week because a lot of the stuff that I have to say kind of has to do with the story of the original.
It's like the Stockholm Syndrome stuff.
Yeah, I guess. We'll talk about all that stuff, you know, next week, I guess. Yeah. But yeah, some of that stuff, which has nothing to do with like this adaptation, I guess. But you know, that stuff is kind of like whatever. You just have to kind of excuse.
I'm interested because I know you're not as interested in seeing Kong Skull Island.
I'm not.
But I'm because like I mean, just from an aesthetic standpoint, I'm interested in it because just the aesthetic of like. Post World War II or Vietnam era stuff and dinosaurs specifically, which I'll get into. There's a certain DC comic book that has that as an aesthetic.
Yeah.
And it's like I'm more interested in seeing that, and like I'm less interested. I'm going in pretty skeptical with like Beauty and the Beast. So maybe we'll finally disagree on this show.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't think we've disagreed yet.
Hopefully.
We didn't disagree. Or.
Yeah, I really don't.
Maybe a little bit during the Oscar stuff, but like,
maybe I guess. Yeah,
I'm waiting.
But never has it been like black and white.
I'm waiting for the Pacific Rim of this podcast.
Yes. Oh yeah.
That's the one. That's the biggest disagreement I think we have.
Yeah,
as movie people.
Pacific Rim.
I wholeheartedly enjoy Pacific Rim as a stupid action movie. That's a great homage to stuff, and Suhaib just isn't having it.
I just straight up didn't. But speaking of Kong, though, the CGI for the Beast is, it's not terrible, but it's it's a little cartoony. But they did do a good job of like kind of like with Caesar, you know, in Planet of the Apes, and you know Andy Serkis, who plays Caesar, the main character in the new Planet of the Apes films. You can kind of see, and same with Gollum, you can kind of see Andy Serkis's like. Sort of like weird facial kind of inflections and stuff like that. Like you can see him in like through his eyes and stuff too, and you can see that with Dan Stevens. And I will say we were talking about this like earlier today about the Beast kind of being like a big jerk and stuff like that, and kind of like his character doesn't exactly, you know, in towards the beginning and stuff, and he is. There's a lot more humanity to him in this movie, I'll say, which I really enjoyed. Good. And so, you know, and that kind of makes you excuse the kind of maybe a little below.
Yeah, because the original Beauty and the Beast, when you rewatch it, is always questionable to me because it's like the movie should be about like, you know, what's on the inside rather than the outside, but it's like only like. He's a jerk to her really the entire time, and it's like, and then in the end he gets the karma of also being really hot at the end. So
exactly. Like, which again like a completely undercuts the whole.
Yeah, we'll get into my theory of Disney karma. my theory about the whole idea, the way that Disney movies work next episode. But so watch Neon Demon if you're ready for the gore, and maybe Ikiru if you're.
I'm gonna try to watch Ikiru.
I'll try to too, but hopefully. I think just good movies all around this week. Solid.
Really good.
We gotten a solid start to 2017.
This is like a really good year.
But we got Transformers 5.
Yeah, that's just which that clip came out. If you guys haven't seen it, you should check it out. Just kidding, don't check it out.
That's just like seeing,
Transformers 1, 2, 3, and 4.
No, Transformers 5 it's like watching two trains on the same track going towards each other. You know what's gonna happen. You just don't know how bad it's gonna be.
Yeah, it's true.
And I think we recorded too late, and I think Mom's gonna yell at me soon. So all right. I've been Davis Miller.
You're in the footsteps. All right.
I've been Davis Miller.
Yeah, I'm Suhaib.
And we'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
2 weeks, 2 semanas.